still with me. Criminal and civil attorney, trial attorney Dante Mills, and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor David Bruno. David, I'll start with you, and I'll start with Murdaugh'S attorneys wanting to get into that trust for $160,000. They were able to do it in the murder trial for $600,000. It's, I guess, a 401k that had $1 million. They want another $160,000. What are the chances they get that?
I hope not. I mean, look, even the report today is the fact that he committed yet another insurance fraud scheme to get that insurance money, and also he profited from it. And I'll tell you what, the victims are lining up as to who he owes, and I think that they should be the first ones to get the trust as opposed to Murdaugh. And look, most people that are insolvent, that don't have the funds to file appeals, get the appointment of the public defender. So these attorneys should either go pro bono and do this for nothing, or he, like every other indigent person, should go and get the public defender's office.
Yeah, and Dante, remember, he makes a perfect argument there, David, because what he's saying is that that money, that pool of money, eventually some of his victims are going to want to be made whole. They won't be made whole, but there needs to be money there to go to them. And there is an issue. We're not really sure, but a lot of times this right to counsel only exists for the original trial and not the appeals. So there's a good chance the court may deny it.
The court may, and again, I believe they should, as it was just stated. If you really look at these issues here, there's going to be a line of people who are entitled to money. And we also see that Alec Murdaugh is still lying. Now he's saying, I made up how she fell, and he's doing that. So that family has to prove that she would have been entitled to that recovery. But if she didn't really fall that way, his argument is she's not entitled to that. He's still trying to figure out ways to screw people. I hope the court doesn't allow him to do that. I don't think they will. But this isn't a situation where he's someone who, you know, there was an injustice and he needs this money to really fight for justice. He put himself in this situation, and I hope the court doesn't allow him to continue.
Yeah, all right, David Bruno, we also got these lies, additional lies. I mean, that's not a surprise. Lying about what actually happened to Gloria Satterfield, some new issues there. She wasn't there to work, and it wasn't caused by the dogs. So the issue is, who was it caused by? I want to listen to Eric Bland. He represents the Satterfield family. The family, as well as their attorney, don't think that there was foul play in this situation. This was a while ago, but let's listen to what he had to say.
From the family standpoint, though, we don't think that there was foul play involved. She was a beloved member of that family as both a nanny and a caregiver, not only for Alex and the boys, but for the entire Murdaugh family, Miss Libby and Mr. Randolph as well. We think that she did, you know, fall on the stairs, whether it was caused by the dog or something else, but we don't believe it was by human hands. And the reason I say that is if they intended to kill her, they never would have let her go back into an ambulance in a semi-conscious state to receive medical treatment, only to wake up and tell the authorities, no, I didn't fall because a dog pushed me. I got pushed by, you know, human hands, whether it was somebody in the house or somebody else. So we're a little suspect that Netflix is coming out with a theory that Gloria possibly discovered some drugs under Paul's bed and there was some animosity between them. But from what we understand, Paul absolutely adored Gloria. He was home alone with her much of the time when he was a young kid. So we just don't think there was foul play, but of course the government's going to look into it.
All right, David Bruno, there you heard it. They don't think it is, but that was then. This is now. Do we suspect there might be an investigation into this one?
Without a doubt. Let's just keep on stacking up investigations on the Murdaugh'S. And look, at this point, Michael, I don't know what to believe when it comes to Alex Murdaugh, especially given, and I'm sold. I'm sold on the fact that he killed his son and his wife, given the steps, given the cell tower, given the cell records, given the video at the kennel. I mean, and I'm in disbelief that how a father could do that. So I wouldn't put it past him or anybody else that something happened to that woman at those stairs. And we now know that it wasn't a dog. She didn't trip on a dog, because we know that from the new filing today. I wouldn't put the Murdaugh'S past anything at this point.
At the end of the day, that's exactly how you look at it. And finally, Dante, let me ask you about this civil case that Parker convenience store, they want out saying that the kids assumed the risk getting on that boat. They did everything right. The state says, no, you didn't. You didn't follow your own internal policies. And you even promoted the fact that you should be lenient on these ID situations when selling to folks. Your thoughts? Will they be able to get out of this suit?
Yes, there's dram shop cases. And what that means is if you own a business that sells alcohol, you have the responsibility to not serve someone who is intoxicated and to not allow them to leave, especially if they're driving. The law is going to say they didn't follow that responsibility. He had keys. It was to a boat, but he had keys to a boat. The question is whether they served him when he was visibly intoxicated. I think from that video, we all saw that he was visibly intoxicated. You could tell. So I think they're going to have a hard time getting out of this case, and the jury is going to have to decide that. But I don't think a judge is going to allow them out based on that argument.
Yeah, and again, the state said, let the jury decide if it was negligence, and I think that's certainly what a judge will end up doing. All right, gentlemen, stand by. Coming up next, 2 news.